Twin Cities Coalition World Environment Day.
As you may know, the UN declared June 5th World Environment Day about 1972 and started rolling out a day of celebration and work ever since 1973. The theme for this year's World Environment Day is Many Species, One Planet, One Future. And it aligns with the UN's designation of 2010 as the International Year of Biodiversity. And earlier today, Rwanda was the host country for the main conference for World Environment Day, the Environment Conservation Conference in Kigali, Rwanda. And I did not know this, but Rwanda is actually a global leader in greening a country.
Rwanda sustainability is really about community organization, about local movements. And you guys really are evidence that it comes down to the community to make a difference in this global struggle. I think it's fascinating that you guys have all joined citizens of Rwanda, citizens of India today to show your support for a clean world and a sustainable world. And on that note, thank you for coming, and I'd like to introduce my co-host, Dylan Lake.
Hi, my name is Dylan Lake, and as Steve said, I recently graduated from services to One Hauler and Franchise Agreement. To hear more about this program, please welcome Terry Kreisman from Manitoba.
And I'm really happy to say that starting in August, Best Way Disposal will be Manitou's exclusive trash hauler, and all participants will have recycling included. So I just wanted to come today. I mainly wanted to come today to let people know that just one ordinary person can create change, because I was really naive about how small-town governments worked, and I just assumed I could take this idea to City Council, and then someone that knew what they were doing would kind of swoop in and take over and handle it. And instead, what I got was, Terry, why don't you write the request for proposal? Terry, why don't you write the contract?
We need to move away from dirty power such as coal to clean renewable energy. We also need serious conservation efforts. To tell us more about the Pristine Energy Program, please welcome the chair of the local Sierra Club, Jane Ard-Smith.
Essentially what the Pristine Energy Project was, Fort Carson, UCCS, Colorado College, a number of our major institutions have goals to get renewable energy by 2027 or sooner. The Sierra Club has a nationwide goal of reducing our dependence on dirty coal.
It's here in Colorado Springs from an average of 1,500 miles away. How can we move towards growing at least 20% of our food locally in the next decade? Please welcome Larry Stebbins from Pike Peak Urban Gardens.
The Pikes Peak Urban Gardens started, this is our third season, and we're really excited because there's a huge wave of people wanting to get back to growing local. As all of us probably know, as great a job as many of the local farms are doing, Venatucci, Arkansas Valley, great a job as they're doing, they probably still can't produce all the food that we're going to need to eat if we want to eat it, because it still has to come from outside those areas at this time. We can change that.
So this is at an all-time low after 2 straight years of budget cuts, which asks all of us the question, what will it take to create a comprehensive regional transit district with its own leadership and funding? There are no less than 3 transit studies in the works, and Lisa Bachman is doing the public engagement for all 3 of them. Please welcome.
So the citizens group decided, let's pursue a funding grant, a planning grant, and let's look at whether a study is, whether it's feasible to have streetcars come back, electric streetcars come back to Colorado Springs. What they found, and the final presentation will be made to City Council on June 21st. If you're able to attend or you have an interest in this, show your support by attending that. But what they found was that it is feasible. It's important to start with a small starter system, downtown area, very important, because one of the big benefits of a streetcar system is a catalyst for economic development.
So many pieces to the puzzle. How will we manage to put all of these pieces into a cohesive picture for for a sustainable Pikes Peak region. Leave it to Annie-Oatman to herd all these cats into one direction. To hear more about SNAP, Sustainability Planning for the Pikes Peak region, please welcome Annie-Oatman.
SNAP is an idea that really started last summer, and it is not yet taken on full wing, if you will. SNAP stands for Sustainable Action Plan for the Pikes Peak region. And it really grew out of conversations about wanting to develop something that people could be for and point to, things that they support in this region, and sort of end this cycle of tearing down ourselves, the criticism of what's happening in the region, and could we develop something that people could start to latch onto and be for. And it also is a recognition of how much.
And we'll keep adding every year until maybe everyone in this room has an award for their passion for the common good. To introduce our next Screen Hall of Famer, please welcome Annie-Oatman.
Since this award is about all the past actions John has taken to further the triple bottom line, I'll try to include something about renewables and bicycles and fashion shows with clothes made out of recyclables for his peaceful, forceful, long-lasting leadership in our community.
It also reminds me that the success of any of the things in this community really comes from the interrelationships and the interdependence that we all have. No one person can do everything. Annie certainly has done as much as anyone in this community, and I was well aware of what she had contributed long before we had actually met in the first Trails and Open Space Coalition effort. And if many of you know the normal funding efforts in this community, not too many things pass. Task has passed a couple of times, and mainly because of her efforts, and then some other people as we came along. But this interrelationship part, one of the things I wanted to mention is an indication of that and the importance of the things that you don't see. Pikes Peak Community Foundation, as an example.
Welcome, Richard Scorman.
And boy, Becky, you represent a warrior who's been out there fighting this fight for decades. And I don't know how people can thank you enough for what you've done. But tonight is a start. And it's something that I was proud to be a part of last year. And think about what everybody is doing here today. She's a permaculture teacher. She's been involved in probably 10 different environmental committees and efforts in this community in Manitou. You've been leading the effort for decades. You really have. And thank God. I know that...
World Environment Day. So, I'd like to start off with Wendell Berry. And I'll try not to cry. Is our most ancient, most worthy, and after all, our most pleasing responsibility. To cherish what remains of it and to foster its renewal is our only hope. Because it is urgent what we're doing. I mean, we're doing a lot of good things, but it's urgent. And there's a lot of things happening that we are moving towards. Richard mentioned I'm a permaculturalist, and permaculture is all about individual responsibility and individual footprint on the planet. So I really resonate with Wendell Berry. It's really our most important thing is to take care of the earth, which is the prime ethic for permaculture, is earth care. And since most of you might not know what permaculture is, it's a toolbox of designing skills based on nature to create sustainable human habitation.
Some people are waiting for the kingdom of God. And some people want a new society. I say it's the same thing. And then he said to us, you are the leaven of your society. Your job is to change the United States. And although here in Guatemala we will lose more lives than you will, your job is harder.